Hi, I'm John, and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures, where today I'm going to be talking about the Haslab Snow cat, who just finished yesterday. And if you've been following it on any kind of other social media, or you've been following the count on Hasbro Pulse website, you will have been in for one hell of a roller coaster of emotionals. Now, of course, today, now that everything got funded, a lot of people are putting out memes. There seems to be a bit of a conflict between the people who hated it and wanted to see it fail and the other people who backed it. So now there's a lot of memes going out, and this does sound a lot like politics. And like I do not like politics, and as you know, politics ruins everything it touches. We're not going to go much into the detail. This is not something I'm interested in, but just wanted to mention. Now, what I'm interested in, and I guess you would be also interested in, is did this set do well? Is Hasbro happy with it? And what does it mean for the future? And what are going to be the course corrections, if there's any needed, to be taken for the future HasLab? Now, also, we're going to be talking about numbers, so this is going to be pretty interesting because there's certain information that is available that you can pick up if you understand how it works. So, of course, this finished at 15,386 backers. Now, there's some people saying that the numbers were higher, then it dropped. Again, you still have right to the 29th of August. If you want to cancel this, you can still cancel it. So, I mean, why would you want to cancel it? This is going to be one of the best collectible resale vehicles due to the fact that it's the one who has the lowest sell count. So, why would you want to do it? It would be kind of crazy to do it. Anyway, let's get back into it. So, like I said, this set sold 15,386 backers for it. Now, something who is very important to know, and I've been having a lot of discussions with different people on the internet, and I've been seeing a lot of people peddling all kinds of misinformation regarding the international backers. Some people were saying that the numbers that appear, or the tally that appears on Hasbro Pulse website, only reflects North America. No other country is there, and all the internationals will be dropped at one time, and that's going to solve all the problems. So, yeah, and when I started asking people about it, none of the people were able to give me correct information. So they didn't really like it and blocked me. I mean, yeah, why not? But anyway, let's talk about the truth, and here is the truth. So if you go to Hasbro's website, you can see in this kind of Q&A, here is the information from the out of the lion's mouth. So, is the backer tally regional specific, or does this include all international backers? So the answer to that is the backer tally on the US, UK, EU, and Asia page are reflective of the total of US, UK, EU, and Asia backers. Additional international backers are also added to this tally as we hear from our partners. Now, of course, this is where people are getting this kind of, oh, there's additional international backers. Well, where are you going to get them? Somebody said Russia. Well, no, Russia is nobody selling to Russia. There's an embargo against them. Then the guy talked about Turkey. I went to have a look at the Turkish distributor, who is not even an official Hasbro. So that is somebody like me when I was selling Hot Toys, Sideshow, or any other stuff. So that means I would want a cut of it, so that doesn't make really much sense, and I don't know how many really big fans are there. Now, there is something that, of course, we can reproach to Hasbro. There's something that Hasbro is saying over here who is wrong. Of course, I'm not going to go into my rant about how Hasbro cancelled some of my stuff, said it was me and all the other stuff and problems with the credit card, but there's something that Hasbro didn't do and they suck at it. This is something who's really bad with Hasbro Pulse, is that this information here, this is false. Due to the fact that Asia is no longer available because Hasbro Pulse closed their website, and we're going to be having a quick look at that a bit later on with the bump. So Asia is shut down. If you do not believe me, you can find the articles about Hasbro Pulse shutting down in Asia that included 4 different countries, and Australia was also hit by it because it's also part of Asia. So those people were not anymore able to order it through Hasbro Pulse. So the numbers that we see for the Snowcat were only for North America, because Canada is included in the US. UK, of course, will be separate from the EU due to the fact that they left the EU, and EU has 27 countries. Sadly, Switzerland is not included anywhere, and we are not even part of the additional international backers because, well, suck it and go and find your way else to get your stuff from us. So, of course, that's why I order from the US. Now, the international people here are the respective Hasbro of the different countries. I talked with a fellow member of YouTube who does also some reviews, and he's in Korea, and he said if he wanted to back the Snowcat, he had to contact, of course, Hasbro Korea to back it up. So this is why when we were watching these guys going up, Lady J was there, and I suddenly do something. I go and have a shower or something like that, come out of the shower, and poof, suddenly 2,000, roughly about 2,000 to get the bivouac unlocked. So this means that on the total, this huge number who was added to jump up the tier, like I said, I'm going to call it 2,000 because it unlocked a tier. It could be a bit less than that, is a very interesting number that we're going to hold back, and we're going to be using it afterwards for the calculations. So, of course, like I said, we got the 15,386. Now, we know out of that, because of the jump, that must have been the numbers who were added by Hasbro Pulse at a later date. Now, of course, there is this podcast that I haven't put my hands on, that I want to put my hands on, and I will guess I'll be talking about it more in this week in Action Figure News. But she did say that it should be fully funded because they had some numbers that they needed to add, and that was the Asian numbers. So if you take 2,000, it makes it a lot easier to calculate it out of 15,386. That means that Asia, out of the totality of the orders, only represents 13%. So this can give you a bit of an idea that Hasbro Pulse not selling much in Asia if the numbers are so low. I mean, G.I. Joe did try to penetrate the market, the Japanese market, and didn't do very well. So it's, of course, this is not something who is very popular in Asia, and they prefer to maybe retail it to the different shops in Asia. So that puts it as a very interesting number. Now, as a collector, I'm super happy the moment this was funded. If this guy was not funded, well, yeah. Would I miss his sausage and eggs? Yes. And the rest of the accessories also would be missing because I'm like taking pictures. So yes, of course, I would have liked to have these accessories. But now that everything is there, I'm super happy. Now, talking about from a business perspective, is this good news or is this bad news for Hasbro Pulse? Well, it is pretty bad news because if you really think about it, you need 14,000 backers to unlock Flint. So everything extra is kind of interesting for Hasbro. Now the thing is, it only sold 1,386 extra parts of this vehicle. So this is why for the Haslab Snowcat is a bit of a failure on the business part. Now, maybe for secondary markets, it's going to be interesting due to the fact that it's the lowest number. There's high chances if people decide to change their mind and didn't back it, you might be able to sell those for a higher price than any of the 3 other Haslabs. But let's go back into numbers and hold that number 15,386 in your head. Now, we're going to be starting by the His Tank. The His Tank also had the same numbers as backers than for the Snowcat. Of course, the suggested retail price was $300 or $299, but let's call it 300. That means 25 less than the Snowcat. Now, of course, the unlocks were the same numbers, but the sample numbers on this one was 26,772. Now, if we go to the second vehicle that was launched by Haslab, who's the Dragonfly, well, this one really scared me because there was 10,000 people who had to back it, and that puts it 5,000 more for all the unlocks than any of the other vehicles that were made for right now. That means Snowcat and, of course, the His Tank. This does not include the Rattler. But this one really had a high bar to get the funding. But it still did it and accomplished it even higher and did 24,764. Then afterwards, we're going to be jumping to the Cobra Rattler. So this one had 9,000 to get funded. So of course you would have the extra tiers on it, and it was also the same price as the Snowcat. Now this one did 26,903 backers. So if we look at all the numbers, well, the Snowcat failed compared to it, because over here we got nearly 10,000 more per vehicle. So yeah, this is not very good for Hasbro. So it would be kind of curious to know how Hasbro is going to course correct it. Now, from what I understand, but like I said, I still have to watch this podcast. So I'll be talking about that as soon as I've watched it and learned something about it, because there's some very interesting things to know about it. But if we go on the assumption that anything same size as his or the Snowcat will get the Haslab treatment, that means the one for 2026, who's going to be a Cobra, should be the Thunder Machine from the Dreadnoks, if we go on that assumption based on what I have as knowledge today. That may change after I've listened to that podcast. So yeah, if we really think about it, the Snowcat kind of did fail, even if the collectors are happy to get it, but on the business part, it was a big failure for Hasbro. So this is why I thought I would be kind of curious to see. Now, of course, there's another Haslab who's getting crowdfunded, who is also the one from Star Wars. So we'll be looking into that one, see where that one's going. Of course, I will not be picking it up. If you've been watching my channel, you will know why I'm not picking it up. So you see, this is it for the Snowcat. So tell me, what did you back this one up? Or are you interested in it? Are you happy about the tiers? And now that you got everything, do you think it was a fair price for $325? Let me know in the comments section. Let's start a conversation about it. Tell me if I'm wrong about what I've been talking about here. I would be glad to have a conversation with you and maybe do some more videos about it. So if you like this kind of videos, please leave a like, share, comment in the section, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot for the algorithm and people discovering me. So please do that. It helps out a lot. You want to go and check out some more information, pictures, go and check out my Facebook page or Instagram page. The links are in the description if you want to see more about it. So feel free to go there. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!